Let's begin on some issues. Something that just came up today. I saw this because we were discussing this not on Zoom in the base matters yesterday. Learning Mishnayos. So right now I happen to be in Seder Nashim, but I was just showing someone what the Rambam says in Avodah Zarah, and that is there are certain days that the idolaters have. Their holidays, Eidehem, and one of those is Saturnalia, Calendis, the ancient forms of Christmas and New Year's, and then they have Yom Ginusa. The Rambam says Yom Ginusa is the day they have the coronation of their king, and it's usually connected to, you guess what, idolatry. And I saw that King Charles III, whose ascension we noted a few weeks ago when his mother died, we were in the middle of Shir when it was all announced, has now established that his Ginusa is supposed to be, I think, June 23rd, and it's supposed to be a Shabbos. That is, they're going to be having a whole big church get down, Anglican church get down on that Shabbos. And the headline here is that, well,
Why are they waiting?
really they're actually doing quite quickly. Coronation, they first have to finish the mourning period for the previous monarch.
Oh.
So ascension means come king or come queen, and then they actually do this whole party where they get, has sit him down throne and all the robes, all that Harry Potter stuff. They do a whole thing, and it's a big religious ceremony also. Of course, it's done in their biggest church. I forget what it's called. Doesn't really matter. And their biggest komrim come and they do a whole song and dance, and that's what they're going to do. And that's Ginusa. That's the Ginusa described by the Rambam, and that's basically the type of thing that's considered one of their holidays, which of course means that Jews should definitely not be participating, but not also being doing business with them on that day. And the Rambam says you shouldn't even live in a city where a thing like that is happening. And then he says, yeah, you can't live in. The Rambam says, technically speaking, you can't live in a city, any city which has a church. The Rambam's very machmir. All Christianity is avodah zarah, unlike, let's say, Islam, which is not, according to the Rambam. So you have a problem because any city that has a large church, there's a church there, what he calls a bama, or a place of their prayer, he says that's a place of avodah zarah, b'li safek. So the Rambam would say that what's going on in London, I guess, on June 23rd, aside from all the usual goings on, every national thing they do is connected to their church, is a major problem. But here it says that the chief rabbi, unfortunately, is going to have to be attending. So and at Shabbos, so he has this whole thing. He's going to be a guest of the king himself. He's going to be accompanying the king and staying with the king on Shabbos in order to attend this thing. And that's exactly what the Rambam says afterwards. The Rambam says, I could live in a place with a church. He says it's because in our avonos that God has punished us and put us into their hands and made us live. We are now compelled to live among them. And that is a fulfillment of the verse, Wa'avadtem sham Elohim, okay, Ma'aseh de Adam. You're going to, you'll have to worship gods of, what says, Eitzva Evan, wood and stone, handiwork of man. And that's unfortunate. Now, Rabbi Rabinovich argued, with others, that certain forms of Christianity are not idolatry today. I asked him, would the Rambam agree with what you're saying? Because he says it quite clearly. All different forms of Christianity, they're all avodah zarah. Says, yeah, well, yes, it's true the Rambam didn't live to the 20th century, so maybe there's a chance, but I don't see what the nafkamina is. So at least according to the old version of the Rambam, but there is an Ashkenazic tradition that I guess is limud zchut on at least the Christians who practice Christianity, the non-Jews who practice Christianity. Although for Jews there's no such excuse. So I feel sorry for the current chief rabbi, who basically is a big anus. He basically represents the Jews in captivity to Edom by having to be the king's guest for Shabbos in order to attend this ceremony that Chazal had a real problem with. Okay, that's a situation, and I pray that God bring back all those unfortunate Yidden who are stuck in places like the United States and South America, Europe, all these terrible places, and they should come back to the land of Israel and help strengthen the Jewish community, and then we could get things a proper Jewish kingdom here and not rely on other kingdoms.
We would like to encourage our viewers to share these videos with friends and send in your responses. If you would like to obtain Birkon Nusach Eretz Yisrael or invite the rabbi for a speaking engagement, please email us at office@machonshilo.org.